What is up, everybody? Welcome into the DNVR Nuggets Podcast.
Let's go, dude. We're back.
I'm Harrison Wind here on a Friday. Happy Friday to everybody out there. Joined by my guy, Eric Weedham. You know him as D-Line.
Bro, I am so sort of back. Let's go, baby. I am so kind of ready for this. Let's do it, man.
Man, do we have a great show planned today? I've got a bunch of storylines that I'm tracking, that I'm monitoring, heading into the real just depths of the offseason. I'm going to throw him at D-Line and make him react to them. So I absolutely can't wait for that.
Yeah, me too. Any chance that we're going too deep into the offseason and that we might implode? Is it possible?
I think we are either in or very quickly approaching the deepest depths of the offseason. I don't know how it could get any deeper.
Are we prepared for this? Not only as like a company, but as a people. You and I, are we ready for this? I don't know if we are, dude.
Well, I'm going on vacation next week, so I'll tell you, I am not prepared for it all.
You're prepared to be completely disconnected, which I couldn't envy anymore. Man, I gotta say, like, I've been like all over the place. Like, I've been fulfilling my actual role at this company, which is being the creative director and like actually helping us, expand and make money. But my preferred role.
Thank you for doing that, by the
No
way.
problem.
I appreciate you filling that.
No problem. My preferred role is to be the idiot on the Nuggets show, but it's wild. Yeah. It's like we climbed the highest mountain. We achieved more than I ever thought possible. I drank so much with so many people from Australia and then some. And like, I feel like I need like a year off to get back in. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like so much.
I know exactly what you mean, man, because a lot of, professionals that are at the top of their field, whether that's in sports or business or something else, always say, when you get to the mountaintop and you accomplish the ultimate goal, you just never feel quite the same when you just go back to the grind. And I feel like that's how we're always going to feel. We hit the ultimate goal. And I mean, of course, can you repeat? Can you build a dynasty? Like there are so many other questions and things that, the Nuggets and this show will keep striving for. But we did hit the ultimate goal. And so there is this question of like, man, will we ever be that hungry again?
Hungry, this is our Smuggets era. Like, this is us, because we would like, Adam has connections. You have connections across the league. So we talk to like dudes that cover the Warriors and like to hear how like nonplussed and how just like totally like, they're like, they won 12, they lost 8. They just, they don't really care. But I'm ready to be just like a jerk. You know what I mean? I want people to like not like the Denver Nuggets. I want them to think about the Nuggets the way that I think about the Lakers, or the way that I think about some of these like super hostile teams that are just dicks all the time. But now that we have the magic wand, like now that we have, like, nobody can tell us anything. Like, I want to abuse that power. Is that bad?
No, it's not. But I would alter that to say I want teams to look at us like the Spurs.
Yeah,
because the Lakers just the Lakers are just the Lakers. They're the Lakers because of where they're located. Like the Spurs are a respected asshole. They're respected assholes. They do it with dignity and class. That's what I want to be looked at.
I'm glad we talked this out. I could have gone in the wrong direction with my energy, but you're right. Like, at the end of the day, everyone should fear us and respect us, but they should also not want anything to do with us. So I think that being a respected asshole is the right way to frame that. So, okay, cool. I'm in.
Yeah. All right. Now that we got that settled, I want to go to my top storyline here that I'm thinking about right now this summer as we get into, like I said, the deepest depths of the offseason. Will there be another mega superstar trade D-line this summer? And should the Nuggets be worried or scared or perturbed by any superstar trade? And I'm talking about, of course, James Harden potentially to the Clippers, his one-team trade demand, and another one-team trade demand, Damian Lillard to the Heat. Let's start with Harden to the Clippers, because that's the one that's more pertinent to the Nuggets in next season. Are you going to be worried about the Clippers at all if they do trade for James Harden and add him to a Paul George, Kawhi Leonard core?
No. Like, there is nothing that James Harden can do that would bring fear into my heart for what it means in the postseason. I mean, James Harden has revealed himself to be the least clutch player this league has ever seen when it comes to the playoffs. Like, that man,
maybe other than his current teammate Joel Embiid,
just
other than him,
or Paul George. Paul George, I guess, had the year where he went toe to toe with LeBron. But like, yes, Joel Embiid, James Harden. I don't know what they were expecting when they brought those two together, as far as like what it would mean for the playoffs. It meant exactly what we all thought it would mean.
Right.
I'm so out on James Harden as a threat, or anyone that's like, his relevance in this league, I think, is just like that ship has sailed. I put him in the Russell Westbrook category of like, okay, nice little bump, veteran presence. He can do some nice things. Your regular season might get a couple of wins added to it, but as far as what it means from the ultimate prize, like, no, absolutely not. Do you? I mean, are you worried about James Harden going to the Clippers?
No, I'm not, and I don't think any other West team should be. I'm completely out on him, and I think what's happening is the rest of the league is out on him too, because what it feels like is happening beneath the surface of this James Harden trade demand is that he only wants to go to the Clippers, but I don't think the Clippers want him, like, at all. Like, they do not want to trade for James Harden because they know how much of a soap opera and disaster it probably would be. So Daryl Morey is probably calling them up, and they're like, I don't know if you saw, but James, he kind of only wants to go to the Clippers, and so should we do this trade? And they're like, yeah, we'll offer you we're not even going to offer, Bones Highland, we're not even going to offer Terrence Mann. We're going to offer you like Jason Preston. That Adams point guard.
Adam would do that trade in a heartbeat, an absolute heartbeat.
We're going to offer you Jason Preston in a second-round pick.
Can you imagine putting Paul Reed and Jason Preston together on one team? What would Adam do, dude? What would he do?
But I think that's what's happening is the Clippers are saying, we actually don't want this guy either. And I hope the Clippers hold that position, because I think the only way this trade gets done is if Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, because people, like players, they just like James Harden, other stars do, because that's just how NBA stars are. They just like these guys. If Paul George and Kawhi Leonard go to management and be like, yeah, we want James Harden, just like they did when they traded for Russell Westbrook, I think that's the only way this happens. And I hope the Clippers are better than that and hold their ground and don't cave in to their superstars' requests again. So I'm curious to see how that kind of dynamic develops.
Man, I don't know what we do, how this gets solved, if it gets solved. I guess it doesn't ever get solved, but just this new paradigm of guys signing big contracts and then making trade demands to a specific team, which is what Carmelo Anthony did to the Denver Nuggets, and then what it did to that following season. Because I got to think, like, if you are the Clippers or if you're Miami and you're looking at historical precedent, like what if we do make this trade for this big marquee player? I mean, that destroyed the Knicks. It absolutely destroyed the Knicks, because mercifully we had Masai Ujiri overseeing it, and he just was like, I'm not budging. Like, I want this last player. Like, either you're going to give him to me or this is not going to happen. What it did is it ruined the entire season. Everybody was worse for it. But at the end of the day, like, the Denver Nuggets ended up being in a really good position because Masai just wasn't willing to budge. But it's like, what are these guys thinking? Like, you're not a free agent, and by forcing yourself, like closing the market to, allow the team that you're on, that you negotiated with to get a huge contract in the first place, and then you completely hamstring them so that they can't get good value for you because you've decided there's only one place you'll go. Like, this outcome has proven to be terrible for everybody. So I don't even know what the thinking is behind it.
It's proven to be terrible, but it just worked for James Harden a year ago.
But it didn't work. I mean, how did
That's
it
true.
work?
It didn't work. He ended up losing like tens and tens of millions of dollars in the process, and now is trying to do the same thing again. So it actually didn't work for anybody.
No,
but
that's what I'm saying. Like, man, I don't know. The older I get, the more like grumpy and crotchety about this that I get.
No, you can get grumpy because this is like ruining the league. It's actually what it's doing. Yeah.
Yes. And I just don't understand. To me, it's like, if you agree to be part of the NBA, like, there are certain things that you agree that are out of your control and you're going to just kind of go along with. You can, if you wanted to, equate it to like joining the army. If you join the army, like, and they tell you that you're going to coastal Carolina to live, you're like, well, I don't like that, but okay, I guess I'm going. Obviously, this is not that, but there is something to where, like, okay, listen, you're going to lose some personal freedom as far as your career is concerned, and as far as, all of the choices. You can't necessarily have everything be as yummy and delicious as you want it to, but the trade-off is that you get to make unbelievable amount of money. You get to be a superstar, an absolute celebrity. Your life gets to be changed. And, when all of this comes out of the wash, when you're age 35, which, as you know, not an old age, you have the entire rest of your life in front of you, and you're a multi-millionaire. Like, I don't understand why we can't have this understanding that, like, the league is not real life. You know what I mean? It's not like,
yes,
it's not like the real job market where you're like trying to make decisions about where you want to live and start your future and like where this career will ultimately take you. It's like, you're here for a good time, not a long time. Like, just let the whole thing. It's like, not these. I don't know. It bothers me because the players, in many ways, and you understand why, because they're the ones doing it, they feel as though it is all about them, which I get. Obviously, they're the ones doing it.
it is.
But it's not, dude. It's like, this league exists for us, for the fans, for entertainment. Like, you guys can go play basketball on your own accord. You can start your own league in that New York gym where everybody works out in the off season. And you guys can play.
Did you see who was just in that gym? Did you see who was just in that gym?
Who?
Bones Highland.
Oh, let's go.
He's been converted to that stupid Brooklyn gym.
Is he working? He's not working out with Joel Embiid's trainer, is he? He's not working out with that guy, is he?
Oh, he is.
What's that guy's? Oh my God, what a nightmare! God, how far we've fallen. Anyway, I just wish we could get to that point where it's like, we all kind of understand what this is. Like, this is like for entertainment purposes, and if you guys mess around with it too much, it's like less entertaining. Like, what are we doing then at that point? I don't know. I'm very old on this, but it bothers me. Why?
It bothers me too, D-Line. The good news, though, is they just signed a new CBA. I don't know if you heard about it. And I think there are exactly 0 rules preventing this from keep happening or from still happening to every other disgruntled superstar who's going to come up every single year for eternity.
I mean, there's no universe that the Adam Silver NBA would crack down on player empowerment. That's like,
it's because they love it. This is what the Adam Silver NBA loves, man. Like,
it's true.
And the reason you know it is because you know what makes me cringe more than like anything I see on Twitter, and that's saying something. But what really makes me cringe
must be on the For You tab.
It is on the for. Actually, no, I think I follow the account. It's when the NBA puts out graphics that say record numbers for social engagement at NBA Summer League this year. The finals generated 100 million social media, and it's like, oh my God, this is all they care about.
It's true.
This is all these guys care about. Well, and what generates social media views? James Harden demanding a trade.
Yes, yes. The mathematics of social media is like small pockets of outrage generate engagement, generate conversation, but it's like all done in bad faith. Like none of it's real. I am convinced on this. Like I am absolutely convinced that the NBA has taken a look at themselves and they're like, we have no chance to overtake NFL football in the hearts and minds of this current generation and the previous generations that are so deeply ingrained into what their sports fandom is all about. But they're like, but what we can do is we can absolutely try to capture the next generation, the TikTok generation, like these young kids that view things through a 2K lens. And like, I think their plan is to just like absolutely cater to that. And then as this generation grows up and gets to the point where they're hopefully interested in the games, that's the part that they're missing, is that they're losing the concept of the game itself. And they're like just focusing on highlights and nonsense. But, I'm sure that the plan is like get as many eyeballs as possible. And then we'll kind of work it out from there once we have like the stature and the prominence and just like the general zeitgeist of the population. But it's annoying. It's really annoying right now because for whatever reason, they don't feel like the game of basketball is compelling enough to be able to get somebody interested in it. So I don't know. I don't know what we do with that.
That's why we have the Denver Nuggets, and we're so grateful we have the Denver Nuggets. Denver Nuggets and Nikola Jokic.
Down on you fools.
Sometimes it feels like it's the only thing good about the NBA.
I know, dude. Truly, like Nikola Jokic, obviously to all of us, started as a mere saint and has ascended to God himself when it comes to basketball. But like, I just cannot be more in love with him. It's like the more this offseason goes on and he's not asking for trades. He's just rafting. Like he's just enjoying
out on the river.
Dude, he's just my man is rafting like pretty much nonstop from what I can tell. And
I can't believe we didn't know that he was this big into rafting.
Well, we had some indication. He's been there before. Apparently that video from back in the day of him dancing around in a shed shirtless was after a rafting trip.
And post raft, okay.
Post raft, he was in a post raft glow. And as I was driving from Serbia to Montenegro, I passed the building and Christina pointed out. She's like, "That's where Jokic went rafting." And then we stopped and we took photos. And then days later, he went rafting there again, which I was like, "Come on, Jokic, don't be so obvious. Don't be so obvious that you're following in my footsteps. It's embarrassing." Just because we did it, just because we literally did it to you in Sombor doesn't mean you can do it to me here in Montenegro, but whatever.
Let's hit a break. On the other side, some more offseason storylines that I'm going to throw at D-Line and get his reaction to.
Let's go.
Right after this. This episode of the DNVR Nuggets podcast brought to you by Illegal Pete's. Illegal Pete's, your go-to spot this summer. Kick back and enjoy an ice cold margarita or cool off with a bucket of High Noons. You can get a bucket of High Noons, 5 High Noons for just $22 at all Illegal Pete's locations. So grab 4 buddies, guys, girls, whoever, head on over to Illegal Pete's, enjoy their patio, get a bucket of High Noons for only $22. Illegal Pete's, your go-to spot for burritos, buddies, and beer.
This is the first time I feel like I've been party to this read where I felt comfortable with directing people to go outside and enjoy a patio. Like it's finally legitimately patio weather. We were sending people into some pretty treacherous situations early on.
Every time the Illegal Pete's read came up, it's just hailing golf balls outside.
Golf balls, softballs, basketballs. I'm telling you, every time that I was checking in on Denver on my travels, I was like, bro, what? Like they got hailstones out here this big? Like it just gets bigger and bigger, brother.
Well, yeah, doesn't it feel like every summer the size of the hail increases?
Yeah, I mean,
Like
I think a lot
last year was golf balls. This
Yeah.
year I've been seeing baseballs pop up.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready for pumpkin-size hail, potentially, I don't know, but I mean, I think, obviously it's because the planet is dying, but whatever, like, it doesn't matter. Like, as long as we can figure out, a humorous angle on it.
Yeah. Kind Love was one of the first dispensaries in Colorado, established in 2010, and they're known for cultivating some of the highest quality cannabis in the state. Kind Love is an official partner of DNVR, so support these guys. These guys are a local brand. They've been in the state forever, like I said, established in 2010. They're Colorado through and through, so support Kind Love, support DNVR. They, of course, have the Turbo Joint, 0.7 grams of whole bud combined with 0.3 grams of turbo keef.
Let's go.
Get it while it's hot. Visit one of their stores in Cherry Creek or North Denver. Mention DNVR. Get the exclusive DNVR discount, 25% off all Kind Love flower, pre-rolls, and their turbo joint line. You can also visit their website, kindlove.com. Use the code DNVR for online ordering and their full extensive menu.
I went into a Kind Love and I used that DNVR code. It does work, and the keef out of control. What great keef!
Did you see this? Jordan Scott brings it up. A tornado hit Pikes Peak yesterday.
We gotta. I mean, we can't get mired into the fact that the world is dying. We got to just move forward.
One last note on these superstar trades. Do you think either of these happened before the season? James Harden to the Clippers, Damian Lillard to the Heat. Do any of these get done before the year starts? Or, as James Harden said, is everybody just ready to get uncomfortable?
What a scumbag, dude. I think the James Harden one gets done for sure. Like, I don't think that. I mean, granted, Daryl Morey hitched his wagon to literally the most loathsome character the NBA has ever seen, and he said for years he saw it as his duty to make sure that James Harden won a title, and then now this is how James Harden returns the favor. Like, what a goddamn scumbag!
Well, I mean, real quick. It's clear what happened here, at least in my opinion. Remember when James Harden took the discount on his last deal? So he could give the 76 or give, the 76ers just more room, more cap room or whatever. And Daryl Morey was going to give him, the full max in free agency. Everybody was like, oh, it's under the table, a wink deal. They'll take care of him in free agency. And then Daryl Morey was obviously like, no, we're not going to give it to you. So then James Harden opted in and was like, I'm done. So that's how the Harden-Morey relationship split.
Whatever. I think that one, to me, I don't see Dame Lillard making everybody feel uncomfortable, but I see James Harden has shown exactly what he'll do. He'll come into camp insanely overweight. He'll play terrible, uninspired basketball. He'll drag the entire team down with him. He has really no scruples when it comes to this stuff. He's shown it.
He's already written the playbook on what to do. He'll just go through it again.
Yes. So unfortunately, I don't know who would trade for James Harden. Apparently the Clippers, but seeing this behavior, I don't know why anybody would want to get involved with James Harden, but I think that one definitely gets done. I'm less convinced on the Dame Lillard stuff, but I mean, I think I'd be amazing if Dame Lillard got traded to the Raptors. They were like, we hear what you're saying, but I don't know what to tell you. We're trading. I mean, because this is kind of what happened with Kawhi Leonard. It was pretty well known he wanted to go back to LA, and then
he wanted to go to the Lakers.
Yes,
he wanted to go to
and
the
then
Lakers.
my man Masai Ujiri stepped up, made the trade, and convinced him to actually ball out. And he had probably his best season ever in Toronto. That championship run was iconic, and I'm sure that he's so happy that it actually happened. I bet and Toronto's another team that has tons of assets that they could actually offer to Portland.
Sure.
I would love to see that happen, but I would say Harden, yes. Lillard, I don't know, 50-50.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. Look, if I'm another team, I call Dame's bluff and
I do
try
too.
to trade for him. Because man,
Absolutely.
Damian Lillard, like we know how conscious he has been of his rep and his history as being a loyal guy. If he demands the trade, like this has already like kind of killed his image in a lot of people's minds. But
Yeah,
if he demands the trade and then was to get traded to another team and like sits out or protest, like first of all,
right.
he's just not going to do that because he has 4 years left on his deal. Like that's just not going to happen. But if he did that, that would like completely tarnish his entire legacy, which I know
Absolutely.
he's not going to want to do. So I would call his bluff. And yeah, if I'm a Toronto, if I'm a Boston, I
Mm-hmm.
would absolutely try to trade for him because you know the price would be lower because he's not Miami. He's not the one team that he wants to go to. You're not the one team he wants to go to. So the price would be lower anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would just I would throw my chips into the middle and try that. I would.
Absolutely. And frankly, the Blazers would be foolish to not do that themselves. Like
Yeah.
they have to look out for themselves at the end of the day here. And again, like if Dame Lillard has to play 2 years in a place that he doesn't love as much as Miami, like he'll be okay. Like, like if he has to spend what amounts to 4 months in a city he's not like over the moon about, he'll be okay. He'll be all right.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Here's my next question for you, D-Line. My next storyline that I'm tracking over the course of the next couple of months. Will there be a Western Conference team that is significantly better than they were last season and kind of jumps up into the
Oh
top
yeah.
tier or close to the top tier of the West and gets out to like a really hot start next season? And suddenly we're talking about them as a team that, you know, could be maybe a contender in the West. Is there a team out there that we're not thinking about that you think could jump up in just the Western Conference pecking order
I mean, I think
next
we're all.
season from
I
where
think
they were?
Yeah, I think we're all thinking about OKC, right? In this
Mm,
regard, they have just the fact that Chet is coming back, and last year when Chet was drafted, I think we were talking about who actually is a believer in Chet. I think you were I was on the believer in Chet's that side. I think you were on believer in Chet's
yeah,
side.
I was.
I think he's going to make a really big impact on that team, and now you have another year of maturation from SGA. You have Josh Giddey. I mean, they actually have like some guys. They have some players, and they keep. They have an unbelievable stable of draft picks, and like they're just. I mean, you're on record saying that you think that their coach is going to win Coach of the Year next year, right? Agnew.
He's my pick for Coach of the Year right now. Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm seeing Leo say they're too young, but they're too young to say like they're too young to make real noise in the playoff, make a deep run, like Sacramento last year. But they're not too young to be the 3 seed by any stretch of the imagination. We saw, Sacramento is the exact example of this. They jumped up from nothing to what were they? Were they the 2 or the 3 last year?
They ended up as the 3. Memphis was the 2.
That's right. And I don't know what's happening with Memphis. Memphis feels like the biggest potential fall to me, although I don't know, maybe the addition of Marcus Smart actually makes for a much better version of Dylan Brooks in there, and Ja Morant sort of figures it out. Maybe I'm counting them out a little bit too early, but to me, I mean, the only team that I see as a riser is OKC, and I think they could make some actual noise this year. What do you think?
Yes. There are 2 for me. OKC is one of them. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that they could wind up as a top 4 seed in the West. I'm not even kidding when I say that.
I agree.
The Nuggets, the Suns, I think are going to be in a tier of their own if you're just talking regular season in the Western Conference. Like just roll the ball out. Who's going to just rack up wins like it's nothing? It's going to be the Nuggets and the Suns. I think they're pretty clearly in the regular season in a tier of their own. And then after that, man, I feel like it's pretty wide open. Just, You look at the 2-3 last year, Memphis and Sacramento. Memphis is due for a drop-off. I mean, Ja's not playing the first, 20 games?
25, yeah.
25. I think they're going to probably start a little slow. Sacramento, I think, is in for a regression this year as well. Like, there's an opening there for a team to jump up. Oklahoma City was a top 10 defense most of the year last year. They finished 40-42. They were 9, 10, 11, 12, 5 games out of the 4 seed last year. I think with those teams coming back to earth a little bit and Oklahoma City getting a lot better, I think they could be like a 4 seed. Honestly, that would not shock me. That would not shock me at all. The other team that I think could jump up from last year is the Minnesota Timberwolves. They had a season from hell last year. Minnesota did.
Yep.
They traded for Rudy Gobert. They had to integrate him. That was a disaster for most of the year. Karl-Anthony Towns, like, we're not high on Karl-Anthony Towns. I'm not high on him at all.
I would say we're quite low on him. And by the way, is it I thought we all agreed it was Karl Towns. Is he Karl-Anthony Towns again?
Well, that's what I call him, Karl Towns, but you guys always give me shit for it. Karl Towns was injured for pretty much the entire year, for like the middle chunk of the season. They got D'Angelo Russell out of there. That's a great move. They'll have Mike Conley for the whole year to start the season. Anthony Edwards could jump up into superstar status this year. They got a good coach. I like what they did this offseason. I just think the Wolves could kind of jump up in the tiers of the Western Conference into that, 3, 4, 5 seed range this season.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about specifically for us, just the anecdotal evidence of the fact that they literally were the most difficult opponent that the Nuggets had in their entire run in the first round, like mostly because of just Tim, we all just feel like Tim Connolly takes the Minnesota job and all his first and only thought is like, how do I deal with Nikola Jokic? And it's to try to contain him with like 2 guys with size that can at least make it so that he can't hang out, close into the basket, which it doesn't mean you stop him, but it just means that he has to defer a lot more often. So I don't know if they're necessarily, designed to bottle up other teams in the same way, but they, I believe in the ascension of Anthony Edwards. I think everybody's bought in on him.
Me too.
I don't know, like they feel like a mess, but like time and off season and regrouping can really solve a lot of problems. But I agree. I mean, in looking at I don't want anyone to talk to me about Houston. Houston's like a disaster. I mean, I don't even know.
We know your thoughts on the Houston Rockets.
Well,
they've been well publicized.
But they're like, I don't even know who they are anymore. They have like 38 guys in their roster right now. Have they cut down to the actual team yet? And like they're just
you can have 20 guys on your roster through training camp.
Jesus, their guys balled out at Summer League, but Jabari Smith looked incredible at Summer League. Tari Eason looked incredible at Summer League. I don't know how much of that transfers over to, like being an actual squad next year. But to me, I'm only looking at OKC as a team that makes any kind of leap. And yeah, the Mavs, like that's the other thing. Like I still don't know who or what the Mavs are. They paid a lot of money for Kyrie Irving, and I don't know what the plan is there still.
I am not high on the Mavs at all. I've been saying this on the shows I've been hosting all week, but like everybody's loved that their off season. They're like, oh, Rashawn Holmes. Oh, they were so crafty to get off that Dragon Bender contract. Oh, they brought in Dante Exum. Like, all right. Like, Grant Williams, I think, is a good signing. They got Max Prosper in the draft, who we liked. But other than that, like I'm not too my juices aren't flowing about the Mavs. It's funny because Minnesota, I think, did some good stuff this offseason. Like they got Shake Milton, another ball handler. They got Troy Brown Jr., who I like. They're going to have McDaniels back after he punched that wall at the end of last season. So,
wow, what a miraculous comeback.
they did some good stuff this offseason. They got Nickeil Alexander-Walker back. And it's funny because talking to my media friends like Dane Moore up in Minnesota at Summer League, everybody was so out on Tim Connolly after the Rudy Gobert trade, of course.
So annoying.
Now, people are actually coming back around on Tim Connolly. They're like, oh wait, he actually knows how to do the job. He's actually competent.
The Lakes are talking, man. The Lakes are talking out there. Yeah, there's nothing more annoying than the fact that they took Tim Connolly from us. Obviously, we got over it. The championship and this draft has really helped. Heal those wounds.
Yeah.
But then for him to go to a place and no one even they all hate him. You're like,
I know.
God damn it. You don't even know.
You don't even know. That made me feel a type of way, man. When they got Tim Connolly and they're like, this guy has no idea what he's doing. He just got lucky in Denver, and we're like, oh, you
don't
even know.
You side door bastards. You don't even know what you're doing. Oh, unbelievable.
All right, here's another question for you. Something we've talked about a lot this summer. We watched him at Summer League for two games. D-line, is Peyton Watson a lock to be in the rotation at the start of next season? Is he a lock at the start?
No, at the start, absolutely not. No. I think he's a lock to be in the rotation at some point, most assuredly. But I don't know. This is like the longer that we're involved in this business and like just seeing how all of the pieces work together, and you just kind of think about like, you have this idea of like the institution of the Nuggets. Like, what will the Nuggets do? But it's really just like a guy. Like, what will Michael Malone do? I mean, we obviously know that the front office is very, very in on Peyton Watson. They absolutely see him as the future in some capacity. His defensive prowess and his athleticism is just so undeniable, and I'm very excited to see it in a place that is meaningful, and like I loved him. I loved him at the end of the season last year. I mean, it was so exciting. A lot of that is just the fact that like nobody else cared, and he was like, this was his shot. So he was actually really going out there and slapping the floor when everybody else was just kind of taking time off. In Summer League, like we saw really good things. We saw like some kind of troubling things, but like just Summer League stuff. But I don't know. I have a hard time imagining that Michael Malone just is like, well, it's your time now, rookie. Like, to me, it's like, I just have a hard time imagining he just fully jumps over Zeke and Vlatko in the mind of Mike Malone. I could be wrong about this because it's not like Michael Malone has shown like a real desire and a loyalty to those two players, but he just likes vets. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't think he's a lock. I don't think he is, but I think he is trending towards cementing his place in the rotation.
Yeah.
Like if he has a great training camp and a great preseason, if he does everything right, I think he will be in there opening night.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's there locked in quite now. And I mean, remember, man, Christian Braun didn't play in the rotation on opening night last year.
No, not at all.
Remember opening night last year when the Nuggets went into Utah and lost by 21 points to the Utah Jazz?
Yeah, we did a watch along. It was horrible. It was totally horrible. We were
live for that entire game. I was live for that entire game.
Yeah, we're like, have we maybe like misplaced our trust and our faith in this world? Like, what are we doing?
Dude, I'm looking at the box score from that game right now. I gotta read off some of these minute totals to you.
Didn't we get destroyed by what's it, the most improved player? What's his name?
Lauri Markkanen. Yeah.
Didn't Lauri Markkanen just mop the floor with the Denver Nuggets that night?
You thought, but he only had 17 points.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you who destroyed us. Well, was the Utah Jazz bench, of course. And more specifically, Rudy Gay had 16 points and shot 4 of 6 from 3, was a plus 24 in 26 minutes. Let me keep going. Colin Sexton, 20 points, got to line 8 times in 21 minutes. Let me keep going real quick. Malik Beasley, 15 points, a plus 20 in 25 minutes. Walker Kessler, 12 and 10 off the bench in 24 minutes. Their bench ran the Nuggets out of the gym that night.
We should rewatch that watch along just to watch our faces. As Colin Sexton and the combination of Rudy Gay and Colin Sexton just off the floor. Dude, oh man.
But what I was getting at was the Nuggets off the bench that night. Bruce Brown, who only played 21 minutes. Bruce Brown only played 21 minutes on opening night last year. Wow, that is crazy. Bones Highland, 16 minutes. He actually scored 10 points. Only guy off the bench to get in double figures. Let's see who else. Jeff Green played 15 minutes. He was a minus 14. Also off the bench.
I can't believe you're making us relive this entire game. This is cruel.
I'm saying all this to prove a point. Also in the bench rotation, Davon Reed logged 8 minutes. He was a minus 12.
Yeah, vet.
DeAndre Jordan, 6 minutes, minus 13. DeAndre Jordan, happy birthday to him. His contract also became official today. He's back with the Nuggets on a 1-year deal.
Hey.
But what I'm getting at is Christian Brown was not in the rotation on opening night last year. Granted, I think the Nuggets were technically deeper last year to start the year than they will be this season. And Peyton Watson, even though he was in the G League for mostly all last year, he was on the Nuggets technically last year. He has been in the system longer than Christian Brown was last year. So as of now, I'm going to say Peyton Watson will be in the rotation on opening night. But that being said, I don't think he's a lock.
Yeah, man. Right. You know what it is? We just have all these conversations about who's going to start, who's da-da-da. And it's I don't know. He might not technically start the season, but as it shakes out, Peyton Watson's going to have a huge role next year. Isn't on day one? It would be
pretty shocking if we went through next year and he is just not somebody we talk about a lot every game.
Yeah, there's just no way. There's no way. So how it actually comes to play, is it his shoes are tied, he's ready to go day one of the season? I have no idea. I would be surprised, but also I think it's pretty meaningless, especially when you recounted the the devastating loss to the Utah Jazz that propelled the Nuggets. They had motivation for the rest of the year to take them to that title. Dude, that game sucked though. I just remember we were watching it downstairs. I just remember sinking into the couch what am I doing?
The bar was packed. Opening night. We're winning a championship. This is the year we've been waiting for. Everybody.
And it was. That's the worst part.
Michael Porter's back. Opening night in Utah. And we just got smacked. And it happened immediately too. It was obvious from the start that we were going to get smoked that game.
I was like, man, this Lauri Markkanen looks very improved as he was destroying us. Unbelievable.
Let's hit another break. I got a couple more storylines on the other side that we will get to right after this. When you get hurt, Backus and Schenker is here to help. They've been winning for Colorado families for more than 25 years. And the coolest thing about Backus and Schenker, you don't pay them any money until they win your case. You don't have to give them any upfront fees. You don't have to pay them while they work on your case. You only have to pay them if they win your case. And that means you're getting a lot of money. So you can give a little money to Backus and Schenker for winning your case.
What's the problem? Who would you say in this dynamic is the Backus and the Schenker between you and I?
Well, of course, Backus compared himself to Nikola Jokic.
So do you then see yourself as Nikola Jokic? I mean, I guess you're running the show.
On this specific show, I've got to be the Nikola Jokic. Yeah. You've got to be the Jamal Murray.
Hey, listen, no problem there. No problem there at all. It's the official Jamal Murray guy of the podcast. I accept that. Shanker, me and you, let's
go. We still have never met Shanker though. I really want to meet Shanker.
Yeah, with the H.
We need to make that happen. We've met Backus. We need to meet Shanker. Backus has been on this show, which is just hilarious.
Dude, is Shanker ducking it? Do you think he's scared of us? Do you think Shanker...
I wonder if he was pissed that Backus just assumed the title of Nikola Jokic of the law firm. That's my theory.
I feel resentful that Adam has taken that title for himself. So I actually get that. That makes sense.
Backus and Shanker helps with all kinds of injury cases where you were not fault, car accidents, motorcycle, rideshare, pedestrians, trucks. They can even help you if you're injured at work. Give them a call. They got the easiest number to remember, 303-222-2222 to find out if you have a case for free, of course. Backus and Shanker wins. Also, make sure to check out Pins and Aces, the official golf apparel partner of ALLCITY and DNVR. Pins and Aces, they've got awesome polos, hats, golf bags. They've got our favorite beer sleeve as well. They've got the liquor stick too. Check out pinsandaces.com. Use the code DNVR to receive 15% off your first order and get free shipping. That's pinsandaces.com. Go to their website. We've partnered with them on shirts, on polos. They've got just tons of great gear, pinsandaces.com.
There is, as we speak, probably just coming to an end now, is the DNVR Midsummer Classic, sponsored by Pins and Aces, putting on yet another, what I assume is a delightfully successful golf event. I didn't realize I had to sign up. I came back early so I could participate, and then Spencer told me he didn't have a spot for me. We have a brand new Pins and Aces polo that we dropped. I'm like, I made the shirt. I don't even get to play the goddamn event. So anyway, I'm going to make sure no one gets these polos, but throw them in the trash. Sorry, Pins and Aces. They're beautiful, but I can't have this.
Yeah. But I did see some photos from the Midsummer Classic come in. Breckenridge Brewery's out there. They got a tent. Breckenridge Distillery is out there. They got a tent. Kind Love is out there. So looks like another banger.
Listen, man, like we have a lot of sponsors. We're a business, we're looking for people that want to, partner with us to get their message out there. But more than anything, we like to bring on partners that have a similar vibe to our own. Pins and Aces, Breckenridge Distillery, like these are all accessories to a successful Denver sports fan's life. So,
right.
But again, you saw that polo with the ice cream golf ball. Don't look at it too long. I'm going to make sure no one on earth gets these fucking polos. If I didn't get one, I'm going to burn it to the ground.
All right. We're back here on the DNVR Nuggets Podcast.
Like you'll never see this again.
Beautiful polo, man. That screams summer. That screams summer. Unfortunately, I'll never be able to buy one, apparently. All right, back here on the DNVR Nuggets Podcast, Harrison Wind and Eric Weedham. Here's another question for you, D-Line. What does a leap for Michael Porter Jr. look like next season? Because I feel like a lot of times when we've been talking about Michael Porter, what we expect from him next season, we just kind of assume it's going to be more of the same. It's going to be a very similar year to the one he had last year. What do you think a leap and him like significantly improving on his game would look like on the Nuggets next season? Or do you even think that's possible?
That's an interesting question. That's super interesting. Michael Porter Jr. has probably the most raw talent on the team. Michael Porter Jr. is also like the one that's like most encumbered and most held back by his body. Ironically, it's like it is his greatest gift and his like greatest anchor is his body. Me too. Now that I think about it, my greatest gift is definitely my body. But like, I don't know, man. Like he's like, you want him to be consistent. Obviously, we've seen the heights that this guy can reach. Yeah. Is it like? To me, a leap is like he shoots like 45% from 3-point for the entire year. Like we just see him really lock into that third position of, people are now obviously locked in on Jokic and Murray because they have to be. It's most dominant action we have in the game. And the fact if MPJ can just like increase those numbers, those shooting numbers, and be consistent. But like to your larger point, like I don't know how much higher this guy can get, honestly. It's like, can you do it in the playoffs? Can we count on you when the moment is the biggest? As far as like the regular season, I mean, it is in him to hit like I would say borderline all NBA, maybe third team all NBA level. Like if he really converts on the potential that he has. Mm-hmm. But it's tough because for him, like his role is not going to increase. There's no way. Like, you know, he's going to be given the same opportunities that he was last year. It's not like they're going to start featuring him more often. And so, you know, elite for him is like he drives to the basket. We see him finish at the basket more often. We see him more reliably finish from three. We see him just be that like deadly, you know, like to be the Klay Thompson that we always envision him being, like to be that guy that's just so deadly that you can't leave him alone. And then it just makes the Denver Nuggets unbeatable, which is entirely possible. And frankly, already happened last year. Like,
right.
I don't know. Do you think he can make a leap? Like I don't know how much. I feel like we're close to his ceiling.
I think he's very close to his like usage ceiling in the Nuggets offense with how the starting five is constructed, you know, with playing next to Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic and Aaron Gordon and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. I feel like he's getting the maximum amount of looks or close to the maximum amount of looks that he can get. Now, I think the Nuggets need to do a better job of keeping the ball in his hands and getting the ball to him more when he's hot. I believe that can raise his usage, like raise his shot attempts if they keep finding the hot hand. And I think he can diversify his offensive game a little bit more if he keeps regaining some of his athleticism, which is something I think we saw last year throughout the course of last season. And it's always something I'm always reminded of when I go back and watch his high school mixtapes. The guy was an athlete, man. He was dunking over people, dunking on people, just throwing his body in the air. It's just stuff he doesn't really do anymore. So I think he's approaching, you know, his ceiling in terms of his offensive usage and how many shots he's getting, just from the fact that he's playing with so many other talented guys. Yep. And the Nuggets are so stacked offensively. But there are little things, you know, in between that I think can keep growing his game.
I think so too. And for me, it's that 3-point percentage. Like I just think I think he can shoot over 50%. I really do, or near 50%, I should say. Like he's got it, man. He just has that stroke. So we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's all the time we got for today, though.
What the H? I was just getting back into it.
Hopping on, man. Yeah, you were cooking today. You were cooking.
Listen, I've been sitting on planes and sitting on takes at the same time, being stranded in every airport in America. By the way, you know how people complain about plane travel, even though it's like a modern marvel, and we should all be thankful that of its existence, and not really complain that it takes 2 hours to get across or 5 hours to get across the country.
I can't wait to hear this.
25. It fucking sucks, man. I hate the airplanes, the airplane culture, and like the way everybody is, and like how like rude both sides are to one another, and like nobody actually wants anyone to have a good time or a good day. It's just a bad situation to be in, brother. It's flying is the pits.
There's nothing that pisses me off more than flying, and the worst people in the world are the ones on airplanes who get up from their seat right when the plane lands and they turn off their fasten seatbelt sign and just run up to the front. It's like, where are you going, man?
What are you doing?
Where are you going?
The door is closed, my man. The door is closed.
The seatbelt sign goes off and they just sprint into the aisle. Just like, bro, what are you doing?
What are we doing?
Like, those are the rudest people on the face of the earth.
It's true. It's true.
God
bless.
You got any plans this weekend? Seeing any movies?
I'll probably go to the airport, hang out, see if I can hop on a plane or two. No, I'm definitely going to go see Oppenheimer. I've been looking forward to this for a very long time. Christopher Nolan is an absolute master at this point. I need to see this thing in IMAX. I'm going to go to Kind Love. I'm going to get prepared. Something that maybe I'll get some Turbo Keef I can melt over my popcorn and go to IMAX, probably by myself. I don't care. And just get blown away. Let's go.
I was dragged against my will to the Barbie movie last night.
How was it?
See, I thought it was terrible, but the reviews are good, and everybody's saying it's good. So maybe I'm just missing something.
I am a big Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach fan, but they're like those are like indie king and queen. Like I'm curious to see how it translates. I'll definitely see both, but like I'm super hyped on seeing Oppenheimer.
Yeah, I thought it was awful, but the reviews are good, so maybe. I thought it was absolutely terrible, like
really
awful. Yeah,
really.
Yeah.
Maybe I won't see.
I mean, I know I'm not the targeted audience. I know I'm not.
Well, it's for a wide audience. It's supposed to be for everybody. Listen, this is a
that's what I thought.
Unbelievable. Well, maybe I'll save Barbie for the home screen. Oppenheimer, I feel like I got to get. Because since we're not talking about the Nuggets anymore anyway, my family is from Los Alamos. Like my family, Los Alamos is the town that was invented to house the national laboratory where the atomic bomb was ultimately developed. And so like, this is so this is like something that is like deep
this hits home.
This hits home. Like my family worked at the national laboratory. So I would like go to this weird town, Los Alamos, which is in the middle of New Mexico, but shares no traits with any of the rest of New Mexico because it's like a fabricated town. So like, I'm super interested. I want to see what happens. I want to learn about the fat man and the little boy. Let's go. I'm ready.
Yair, can you pull up that tweet real quick before we get out of here? Did the Nuggets steal my tweet, D-Line? I need you to be the final ruling on this.
Okay.
You've got this tweet from the Nuggets today, and then my tweet. Yair, can you pull that one up as well?
Okay.
Here's my tweet.
Well, all right. Listen, what you're involved in is a large scale meme. I don't think that you can claim ownership over this. I don't think they stole it from you. Everybody was looking for their version of Barbie and Oppenheimer. So I gotta say, no, they didn't steal it from you. But I cannot wait for this meme to be dead. I'll say that.
Okay, that's gonna do it for us today. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hope everybody has a good weekend. We'll be back on Monday. Stay safe. Talk to you guys then.
Let's go. I missed you so much.
I missed you too.